This is not going, the one that I have crammed all of my stuff into is not yours. Starlene will be mailing yours directly. So the winner of that, which I drew beforehand, is Catnip, who is Catherine from Atlanta. And the question I asked you all to answer was, what is something that you could use a project bag for, or do you use project bags for, besides holding knitting projects or crochet projects? And Catnip said, such great fabric on this one. I've only been using my project bags for knitting up until now, but I could see using them for other crafts like card making or scrapbooking. Might make good storage for washi tape or my Copic markers. I have no idea what that means, not being a scrapbooker or a card maker, but I have a feeling it has something to do with those. If you think of it, come tell us what those are. I suppose I could also just Google it. But congratulations, Catnip. And if you're wondering, I know some podcasters do the random number generator right while you're watching, and I think it was the Knit Girls who started doing that, and everybody else just kind of copied them. And I think it may be because somebody got really snarky with the Knit Girls once about thinking that they were drawing just their friends, and so they started doing the drawings live so that, as Leslie puts it, you won't think that she's cheating. Seriously? I'm not blaming Leslie and Laura for this, but if you think that podcasters are cheating and drawing for their prizes, then and you actually take the time to contact a podcaster about this, you probably have bigger problems than they do. I'm just going to keep doing the drawings off the air. I think that's fine. Don't you? I do. Like I say, I don't blame anybody for doing it that way. I'm just explaining why I don't. Alrighty. So, new giveaway. We have, you know what? I'm going to need to pause this because I want to show you a picture of the pattern that we're going to be doing a giveaway for. Hang on. Okay. So here is our new giveaway. The lovely Christine Beeson of the Yarnings podcast, which if you haven't seen, you should definitely go take a look at. Christine has just designed this lovely cowl called Harmonize. Let me see if I can get it a little closer there. This is a cowl that is designed for fingering weight yarns. This is a sheep spot hand-dyed yarn that she's done one of the samples in. And it either comes in this long version that you can then double up around your neck, which I especially like, or there is another version that is shorter and just fits in a single sort of collar-like layer around your neck. Very pretty. Lovely feather and fan and garter stitch, lace, a bit of lace work. Nothing too complicated. If you've not done lace before, I think this would be, or if you've not done much lace, this would be a great place to start because it has both charted and written instructions. And, sorry, I'm laughing at myself, not at what I'm saying. Has charted and written instructions, and the lace is not overly complicated. And it, let's see, it's really good for using, like if you really want to use all of a skein. It looks like the longer version uses 325 yards of a fingering weight, whereas the shorter one uses 200 yards. So if you had one of those fingering weight skeins that is, just enough for one sock, it'd be perfect for the short one. And if you have a standard fingering weight skein, it would be more than enough for the long one. And she even gives you tips about how you can lengthen the longer cowl so you can just go ahead and use up all the yarn. Really nice project. And I just think, look at her. She is such a sweetheart. Truly good soul. So thank you, Christine, for sending me a copy of this pattern. I'm really looking forward to knitting this at some point. And she has very kindly offered to give away a copy of this pattern, a PDF copy. PDF copy? This is coffee. You will get a copy. How about I have more coffee? And then finish my sentence. She has very generously offered to send a PDF copy to one of you. And we will open one of the standard prize threads on the Dark Matter Knits group on Ravelry. And the question that I asked her if she had a specific question that she would like me to ask, and I loved what she responded. She said, how about you have them tell us about a combination that harmonizes that you didn't expect to, like peanut butter and jelly being seemingly contrasting, but they work. In my life, she says, board games plus knitting, lace weight plus tunic length garment, raindrops plus flowers. So think of some combination of two things that you think work well together, even though on the face of it they shouldn't. And that will be, you just say that as your post in the thread. One entry per person, must be a member of the group, etc. And I will do the drawing before the next podcast. All right. So that's cool. And like I say, check out Christine's Yarnings podcast. She is a very sweet and upbeat person, and always is doing something very interesting with her knitting, and really has a thoughtful knitting process. I love what she comes out with is really beautiful. She makes lovely things, and she's also really into gaming, like I am, and yeah. So it's a good one to check out. It's a video podcast. So those are my announcements for the week. What have I been up to and knitting on? I actually have things to show you this week. I've been doing mostly design knitting, but I do have a few things to show you and talk to you about. So last weekend, I went to the Texas Winter Fiber Fun Retreat. Say that 10 times fast. I'm not going to. I will just say it once. No, I'll say it twice. The Texas Winter Fiber Fun Retreat is held every year in Denton, Texas, which is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it is run by Mary Berry, who runs the Fancy Fibers shop. She is raises animals and sells their fiber and other people's fiber. And she actually also used to be the person who ran Kidnew, which is the fiber festival in Bernie. She may still, I think she has handed that over to someone else, though. At any rate, this is a wonderful retreat. It is now a little under 100 people, all women, as it turns out. And although it's certainly not exclusive to women. And it pulls people from, I'd say probably anywhere in a 4, 5, 6 hour radius. I'm probably one of the people that comes from the furthest. I'm coming from Austin, which is about 3.5 hours away. And it's a kind of a full fiber retreat. So there are some vendors, but mostly it's classes and just sitting around, hanging out, doing fiber things. There are a lot of knitters, some crocheters, and really mostly spinners. So if you're looking for a retreat and you're somewhere nearby to Dallas and you're looking for something where you can really meet some other spinners, then this is a good one for you. I lied. I am not one of the people who comes from farthest away. There is a group that comes from Mississippi. So they win. And I'm always glad to see them. Donna Payton is one of the people who comes, and I just always love seeing her. And I got to meet, I got to see some old friends, and I got to meet some new people this year. One of whom I was really excited to meet is Pat, who is a viewer of the podcast, and who I mentioned last week. And she was at the retreat, and she took both of my classes, and she is completely lovely. I so enjoyed spending time with her. She's one of those people that, you know how you meet people sometimes and you just instantly feel like, yeah, I could just sit next to you for the rest of the weekend and be perfectly happy. It was like that. So it was really, really nice. It's really nice after I had an extremely busy week, like frantic week before that. So, I kind of showed up breathless and then taught 8 hours of class. And then I was finally able to kind of decompress in the latter part of the retreat. But yeah, it was super fun. And while I was there, I worked on so many bags. Dagnabbit. Hang on, I have to go get another bag. Okay. I thought I had everything together, and apparently I did not. So you may recall that I was working on, I think on New Year's Day, I started knitting a project with this skein set from Willy Wonka Fibers. It's a transitional skein set, so it's not technically a gradient, and in fact, some of her skein sets really don't look like gradients at all. They're just, 4 different colors that harmonize well together. But it's basically 4 different colors, 100 yards of each. So it's fingering weight yarn that all together is the size of a standard skein of sock yarn, but broken up into 4 different colors that transition well together. So this one is called, the colorway is called Rolling in the Deep, and it is a 100% superwash wool. So, to my mind, a little better for a shawl than, say, socks, because there's no nylon in here to kind of help strengthen the wool. So, and I've been kind of on a scarf-shaped shawl kick recently anyway. So this is what I'm making. As you can see, I've finished I'll get to the pattern in a moment, but I finished the first color, and I have started working on the second color. The pattern that I'm knitting is called A Certain Slant by Stitch Nerd Designs. Here's her photograph of her finished shawl, which, as it turns out, is probably influenced my thinking, as colors very similar to mine. I'll show you another example. I saw there are a number of these that are done in gradients, so I thought this would make a good project for this. I had started on New Year's Day, I had started knitting a striped shawl, and I just wasn't loving it. It wasn't anything to do with the pattern. I just, I didn't feel like it was setting off the yarn as well as I wanted it to, so I just decided to start over. And so this is pretty much what I knit on while I was at the retreat. So that is, oh my gosh, I got stuff everywhere. This is my work desk too, so it's kind of hard to keep everything straight sometimes. All right, so that is going out of my way. Another thing that I just started today, actually, let me get to that in a moment, because that kind of transitions into the next thing I want to talk about. Let me show you my spinning instead. Now, this is going to be a little challenging. Oh, you know what? Just pick up the phone. All right, moving you gently so you don't barf. All right, so there is my spinning wheel, my lovely Kromsky Minstrel, which is let's get this out of the way, a double treadle. Can you see that? Oh, there's my little treadles, little pedals. And I am spinning